Hi everybody, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. It's time for the weekly Q&A video. So hopefully everyone in the live chat can see me, and make sure as well you, if you can hear me, just let me know. So this is a weekly video that I do, and all the questions come in through our Patreon and YouTube channel members. So they get to do this in advance. They also get to contribute with the live chat as well. So they'll be asking questions, so I tend to jump in and out between what we've done already. Also, if you've got a super chat as well, you can pop in your appreciation, or if you've got any questions and stuff like that, you can use them. Also, a huge thank you to Cobra Critic for already using the super chat. Thank you very much for that. I really just appreciate it. It really makes a massive big difference. Hello to Joe, who's just joined in with the live chat right there. So there we go. As I said, Patrons do get early access. Now, one of the key things they've got this past week, they got early access to our Monsters University video. Oh, sorry, Monsters Inc. video. They got early access to that last week, so that made a massive thing. So that's now available for everyone today. They'll be getting Monsters University video tomorrow, and then everybody else will get it next week. So there we go. And thank you very much, Cobra Critic, for that the super chat. Joshua just asked, hello Roger, how have you been? I have been good. It's been really busy this week, really sunny, really hot. So in the real world, I've been very busy. I'm dealing with sort of just it's just been so busy with the sun. But yeah, been really packed week. But let's jump into it. Let's jump into some of the questions. We'll start off with the Patreon ones. So, there's a couple of questions about this today. So, Gavin Scott asks, with the lawsuit in motion for Latin America because of the Star launch, do you think that Disney will rethink and launch Star as a brand within Disney Plus? It could be a good way of adding the addition of ESPN Plus as another brand within Disney Plus. So, that was one of the questions. We also had another one. I'm just going to try and see which one we had that was pretty much very similar. Okay, so Joshua asks, how do you see the Disney versus Star situation in South America playing out? So like I said, I want to jump into that one because since that one is our top story really of the day. So if you are unaware, Disney has been taken to court by Lionsgate StarzPlay in Latin America over the launch of Star Plus, which is going to be coming up this August. Originally it was supposed to come out this month, but got pushed back. Now, Star Plus is a little bit different than what we've already seen on Disney Plus internationally. For example, here in the United Kingdom, we have got Star built into Disney Plus, which gives us all the general entertainment branding. So we're getting Star originals like La Victor. We're getting lots of more content that way. Now, the cool thing is, it really kind of has made a massive difference to how I use Disney Plus, how much my wife uses it, everyone, because there's just so much more content on there. It really does make a massive amount of difference. But in Latin America, they're going to do things a little bit different. They're going to launch Star Plus as its own app, and it's going to have all the general entertainment content, including Star Originals plus sports. Now, the sports are the key thing. So what is going on with this one is there's a little bit of an issue with the lawsuit because originally Lionsgate, which runs Starz, which is called StarzPlay down in Latin America, they filed a trademark dispute against it. They then kind of have turned around now and now putting a lawsuit to stop Disney from launching Star Plus. They feel that the name is too close and it's going to cause some issues. Now, I actually don't think that's a bad thing from Lionsgate. I don't think that's a bad idea because I've seen it myself in the Facebook group, on social media, etc., where in our comments of people getting confused between Starz and Star and Star Plus and StarzPlays and all this kind of stuff. So I do think that's a key thing. Now, with regards to and then it's like, as Cobra Critic has just said, I find it funny that you can watch Borat on Disney. It is very strange that you can watch it and watch Deadpool and Family Guy, and Star really does make a massive impact to that. I have watched Borat on Disney Plus because it's so much better than Borat 2. But getting back to Starz Plus, the thing is with this one is it's a very different app, and now this whole thing with the lawsuit could seriously change what Disney are doing. They're either going to have to lose the case and they're going to have to rebrand Star Plus. I mean, they haven't launched it yet, so they've obviously got an issue. They've already rebranded their television channels to Star, so they've already done that already. Now, personally, from my point of view, I would like for Disney Plus just to incorporate Star there, and they get all the access to the same thing, and then they have ESPN Plus for all the sports. That's what I think would be better. I think most people in Latin America would probably like the same thing of having sports and entertainment separate. I can't see them doing They could go the other way of maybe turning it into Hotstar, but then it might be a bit more again with the Starz name, and they incorporate live sports. They obviously feel like they needed to do something with it, so they're obviously going to have to change around. I cannot see them using the Hulu branding, because if they increase the value of Hulu, that means they owe Comcast more money. This is why Hulu is really kind of just floating along a little bit at the minute, because Disney doesn't want to put too much stuff into it, because if they do that, it'll be worth more, and then they're going to have to pay Comcast for it. So things are very complicated of how it's all working. I do think that we're going to see a delay. I can't see how it's going to get fixed by the end of August. So I do think there is an issue. Like I said, I personally would have liked them to have gone with the one system, or maybe just have the one app for everything, like a Disney Plus Hotstar in Latin America, and do it that way. But yeah, it's a very tricky situation. I do think it is confusing. I think it's bad enough just having Star in Disney Plus as just having this weird branding, rather than having FX and 20th Century Studios and Searchlight Pictures. Why they didn't go with the multiple branding and they went with Star, I don't know. I still think it's a little bit odd. Even just the terminology of how they say Star on Disney Plus, and then sometimes they just say on Disney Plus, and it's very issues. And I do think Starz have got an issue with the branding. Now, that being said, I think Starz is probably not going to be around for very much longer, because there was a question here and I can't remember exactly, so when it comes up, the thing is with Starz from Lionsgate is they do not have enough hits. They don't have a big enough stuff. So now with Peacock getting bigger and Paramount Plus getting bigger and HBO Max and Discovery kind of merging, Starz is just kind of sitting out on its own. So I would very much see that that's going to get swollen up. Whether or not Disney buy it, maybe that's one way of getting around that problem. That could definitely fix the problem if they did that. If Disney kind of go, yeah, we want the Star name, we'll just buy StarzPlay and we'll do it that way. Could be. I mean, who knows? They throw enough money at it. That could definitely be a way of going at it. But I do think that this is a problem that's going to continue to go on. But let me know in the comments, in the live chat, what you think about Star versus Starz. Okay, let's jump back into some other questions. Actually, we'll do a live one here. So Joe said, the sun was shining in Ireland today so much we decided to go to the beach. A couple of minutes later, raining, just an ordinary summer for us Irish. It has been beautiful here in the UK. Glorious weather. Yeah, no rain yet. My VCR still works, as he's watching this in E3. I'll be honest, I have been flicking on the Xbox presentation for the last hour and a half, checking out everything that's going to be coming to the Xbox over the next year. I do like the fact that Pirates of the Caribbean is coming to the Sea of Thieves game, because I've never played that game, but Pirates is going to make me do it. So that's going to be coming, I think, in about a week's time. There's a few things as well that got brought up in the Microsoft one, which I like to look at. Joe asks, any update on the Predator lawsuit? I know the Predator 5 is meant to be going straight to streaming. So this past week, the people that kind of wrote Predator or created it are trying to get the rights back for the movie, because they say that time-wise is coming up and they only had a basic deal of like 20 or so many years, and Disney have kind of combated that and said, look, you've not provided this at the right time. So it went to a court, I think, in San Francisco, and San Francisco have basically, the court said, no, you have to take it back to a court in Los Angeles, because they wanted it up in San Francisco because there's less media, there's less stuff going on there. But San Francisco court said, no, you're both in LA. This is very much in the jurisdiction of entertainment, and they passed it back. So that was the thing with the Predator as being sent back to court in Los Angeles. The thing that was interesting, there was some paperwork that did state that the upcoming Predator movie, currently called Skulls, is set to be coming to Hulu. So that would also then mean it would be a Star Plus original for the rest of the world. So yeah, it's definitely a great way of doing it. So I think there's definitely something moving on there. I think it's a bit of an odd one there going on. Let's jump back in now to so Gavin said, since Fox will be closing at the end of the month, I'm still a bit surprised to see non-Disney content like NCIS has still not been confirmed home. Could be my wishful thinking, or do you think Viacom CBS will use this as an opportunity to launch Paramount Plus at the end of the year? I don't think I don't think they might not have the streaming rights to NCIS, so I could end up seeing it maybe moving to Channel 5's instead, because that's owned by Viacom and they've got 5 on demand, so it would make maybe more sense to put it there. Paramount Plus really is going to have to get all of its stuff sorted with that, so yeah, that's definitely an issue with that one. Connor asked, after reading the bumper press conference about the UK summer of streaming, do you think there's far more content to come on top of what's already been announced? I feel like American Horror Story could be a surprise addition, as AHS is not exclusive to Netflix in the US. There have been contractual issues in the past with Canada and Australia, and the 1984 series has yet to drop in the United Kingdom. So as far as more content coming, I think there's going to be a lot more coming. They really kind of announced a lot, but there was a lot of things missing from there, from like the lineups, like the Shark documentary. There was also the Turning the Tables documentary thing that they've done. You also had the Stuntman documentary, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot more of it. A lot of those things that they've announced so far, to me, most of them were stuff that's already on Disney Plus in other countries, and they were just going to turn the switch, not anything majorly new. So I'm sure there'll be a lot more coming later down the line. As far as American Horror Story, it wouldn't surprise me if they end up going on to Disney Plus Star exclusive for the first showing, like almost like they're the broadcast rights, and then it would have to go maybe to Netflix for a short period because they've got that one. So that might be a way of getting around it. Okay, let's jump into some of the live chats. So, Cobra Critic, again, thank you very much for your super chat. If Disney buys DreamWorks and DC, what would happen? Well, I don't think... Well, DreamWorks kind of falls, I think, under the Universal thing. So, sort of Peacock, I think, would probably have first dibs at DreamWorks if they were to do anything. And as far as those recent rumours regarding DC, I can't see that happening. I think if Discovery have just spent that much money on Warner, they're going to want DC. DC, Batman, all the rest of it, that's massive. I cannot see how they would sell that at all. One of the biggest franchises. You got Superman, Batman, The Flash, Justice League. We just need some people at the top that can make these series and make these movies. And I almost feel like they need to start again. You know, do the program, do what they're doing right now, and say, right, we're going to stop. And then, and my VCR work just said, do you think Disney can buy DC Entertainment? I don't think they can. I don't think it would be good for the comic industry. As much as I love to see Batman, I kind of, you know, they've been separated for so long. I just can't see how they could do it. I could so much easier see somebody else like Comcast coming in or Netflix, or even Apple or somebody else trying to come in and buy it and pay much more than DC or for Disney, because they're going to need that competition. I just can't see how Disney would do it. Josh has said the main CBS programming is a little bit all over the place. It is. It certainly is all over the place. The trouble is, I think, with that Fox channel here in the UK shutting down was definitely a lot of it is just old licenses. I don't think they got the streaming network access. Joshua said the DC rumors were fake. They were spread by a known individual who has a tendency of making things up. Yeah, I think there was definitely just a clickbaity kind of thing all over the place. Yeah, so let's jump back now into some of the questions. Okay, so Connor said, as Disney Plus, Netflix, and the BBC iPlayer share FX content in the UK, is there a chance we could see these shows like Always Sunny, Archer Pose, Mayans MC on Disney Plus in the near future? 100%. They will probably be turning up at some point. Now, I believe Disney Disney and BBC signed, I don't think it was even BBC at the time, but when they signed the deal, it was a multi-year, and I think it was a 3-year deal, so it might be the end of this year. Very noticeable with all of the content that's on other platforms are not going to Star. Everything that's kind of already in existing contracts, I do believe it'll arrive at some point, and it just depends on when that deal with BBC. I think it was a 3-year deal, but again, this is the trouble with these announcements. They put out these big things and go, we've made a big multi-year announcement, but they never say when it ends. They always say when it starts, but never when it ends. Also, Cobra Critic, again, thank you very much for another super chat. Why is Indiana Jones on Paramount Plus but not Disney Plus? That is because Paramount actually has the distribution rights, because they actually made the original movies with Lucasfilm way before Disney purchased Lucasfilm, and so they have those distribution rights. Now, there's been like some reports that Disney have brought them back and all the rest of it, and they then licensed them onto somebody else. So that could be an issue. They might have them back now, but most of it is down to the rights are currently with Paramount, and so that's why they're not going to. I could very easily see them do a deal at some point before Indiana Jones 5 hits, where they get shared access or they get it back or do something. But I could definitely see that happening. So Joseph asks, with Sailor Moon not having any UK distribution rights except for the Eternal movie on Netflix, could we see classic Sailor Moon content on Disney Plus in the UK, as the USA have it on Hulu, or could Disney buy or do the distribution rights? I doubt they're gonna go down that line. I don't see that while they could license content. I don't know if anime is the one they'd go for. Being honest, I looked into it and it's not sort of showing up anyway. It kind of definitely feels much more in that kind of Crunchyroll kind of area and stuff. So a big hello to the Lego Ninjago Productions. Thank you very much for becoming a silver member. If you've got any questions, make sure you join. And if you do become a member, you can do that. Again, a big thank you to Cobra Critic. He asks, will the Bob's Burgers movie be on Hulu or Disney Plus? In the United States, it will be heading, I would imagine, to Hulu, along because already the series are on there. For all of us internationally, it will arrive on Disney Plus. So that's always a key thing. It's just, yeah, whether or not things have changed in a couple of years, who knows with what they do with Hulu. That's always an issue. Okay, so let's move on. So Streamer asks, with the news that Black Widow is arriving on the 6th of October on Disney Plus for all members, a Wednesday, and the same with Monsters at Work, do you think we'll see more and more things drop on Wednesdays and more diversity variation with the release dates? I think for sure that they are doing something with the release dates. The Wednesdays are the new Fridays, according to Loki. I think we're getting into that territory now where there are so many shows being dropping, and they're going to be dropping more. This is not just this summer. We're going to be seeing multiple shows dropping. We're seeing legacy content. We're also, I think, starting to see a shift in some of the network programming as well, starting to drop onto Disney Plus on Fridays. We're seeing it with the Shark Fest content coming up in the United States in July and August. You're also seeing it with the Gordon Ramsay Uncharted show in the US right now. We're also going to be seeing it with the upcoming Spidey and Friends internationally. That's going to be dropping weekly. So I think the trouble is if you start getting all these TV shows dropping, and you've got all the Star originals dropping, and you've got Fridays is becoming a massive drop. It also it's going to start looking a little bit more impressive with people being given a bit more time to watch stuff. I'm not opposed to them spreading some of this content out. I know here with all the Star originals, some weeks we were sort of like 10 episodes were dropping on a Friday of different shows, and that's a lot. That's a lot. And if you are, you've got to prioritize. And it's easy then when you're prioritizing for the ones at the bottom to maybe not get seen. Because I know there's a few shows that was like, oh, that's not so important. I can say this personally as well. Because generally for some of the shows, I do have got a little bit of early access for some of them. So I can watch some of them in like a day or two in advance, like Big Shot or Big Sky. And so therefore what happens is I can watch them before Friday. So I've been able to spread them out a bit. So I do actually quite like that. So I've kind of been used to it. And I can see why moving Loki over. I think also moving Monsters at Work and keeping it separate from the other shows. I think if you can have... we're going to have 2 shows dropping on Wednesday. Also, Black Widow will be dropping as well on a Wednesday. So I definitely think we're going to be doing that on there. Streamer also asked, do you think they will put Shang-Chi on Premier Access outside of the United States because the US is the only country with the 45-day exclusivity window? Well, the exclusivity window is also now in place in the UK as well. I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do this trying to get people back to cinemas. I think they're going to do that with Shang-Chi and Free Guy, see how things go, see how things move. Also, more importantly, maybe see how Jungle Cruise and Black Widow do on Premier Access. Apparently, Cruella did pretty good, so we're going to have to wait and see how all this works out. Also depends where we are with what's going on with cinemas, because we're here in the United Kingdom, we're really starting to see an upward tick in the amount of people catching it. Now, the vaccination program is generally now starting to go down into the lowers. It might take a little bit longer. There's a lot of talk already of delays and stuff to our lockdown. I know in the US things are opening up very quickly, but if a variant comes in over the winter, it might slow things down. And if people don't go, Disney will very much easily change it. But I don't see Shang-Chi. I think that one is going to be the one that they may test. It depends how. If Free Guy does really badly, they might change their mind. But I don't think they want to confuse things. Okay, so those are all the Patreon ones. Let's jump back now into the live chat. So Joe says, Are you going to watch Black Widow in the cinema because UK and Ireland are getting it to see it before the USA? I think I'm going to watch it in cinemas on July 7th and buy it on Disney Plus on Friday. Now, had you asked me last week, I probably would have just said I'm not going to cinema. But obviously this week I headed up to London and I went to see the Loki premiere in London, and there was a load of us watching it, and we all had our masks on and all the rest of it. So I have now gone to a big event and had sort of watched something there. So I'm much more likely now, I think, to go. I think as with regards to Black Widow, I think the Premier Access, I would like to probably watch it there because I can watch it on my home things. I just think it'd be more comfortable. The fact I could go see it a day early now does mean now I could slip to the cinema and watch it at 5 o'clock. But again, I don't really want to be around a load of kids and teenagers that are unvaccinated. That's just my problem with going and seeing it right now, is because of that. Yeah, so that's my only issue with going to the cinema now, is there's going to be a lot more younger people that haven't had the vaccine. That's the issue here in the UK. Big thank you very much to Lady Jennifer Snow for your super chat. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Really makes a massive difference in supporting the channel. Yeah. So your question is, do you think Disney will get to the point it has enough original content to launch shows every day of the week? I don't know about every day of the week. I think that might be a little bit pushing it. I think if we can get to 7 shows, but I could see, if you start adding in all the Disney Channel or the FX or the ABC shows and they all start dropping, we could see maybe something dropping every single night. I don't know. I think to get up to 7 originals, I think having an original every day might be a little bit of a stretch. For internationally, for us though, we probably could do it right now. Actually, I'm thinking of like this week we've got Aretha, we've got MODOK, we've got Rebel, we've got Bad Batch, we've got... Yeah, I think they could actually do it right now. Here in the UK, they could actually get away with one all day. So that could work. I don't think they'll get that way, but they could definitely do it. Thank you very much. Lego Ninjago Productions says, hello there. So I was wondering, when do you think they will announce some launch dates for the service in South Korea, Eastern Europe, and Hong Kong? I think they really need to focus on this too. I think they will focus on it eventually. I think obviously we've got the Thailand release coming up at the end of this month. They might be just doing one bit at a time. But the thing as well, COVID has had an impact on how they can get around and do everything. So that might slow things down. They might be waiting to get things launched later on in the season when, generally the summer's probably maybe not the best time to launch it because there's less people moving around. I don't know why Eastern Europe is taking so long to get going there. South Korea and Hong Kong, it would make sense for them to get going soon. Obviously, like with Southeast Asia, we know the TV channels are going to be starting to shut down at the end of October. So I think we're going to have something soon. We're a little bit off from another financial results, but maybe if they keep doing a launch a month, that would be good. Because if we've had 2 this month, maybe we could see a little bit more of that one there. Let's jump in now. So the Juice said, is there an idea of an IP that Disney has yet to dive into that you'd like to see a fresh take on it, whether it be for a movie or a TV show? I personally have been wanting them to come back and do them a revival series of the Gargoyles or a more modern Homeward Bound film show. I think Gargoyles would be a really good series. It's a show I never got into. I think it was a little bit later when I was a little bit older when it came out, so I missed that one. I know it's on Disney Plus, but it's a show I've not jumped into, so that could be pretty cool. I'm a big Rescue Rangers is the one I'm actually looking forward to. They're already working on a movie version of it, so that's what I'd like to see. We've already seen Ducktales. Gummy Bears could be quite fun to kind of revisit that, to go back. So that could be a little bit more fun. I think Darkwing Duck, they did a little bit of Duck. They could maybe redo something with this one, but I'm at a point where I would like them just to focus on doing new. This nostalgia thing is kind of what's going to bug me now. Is they're not going to be. They've gone through the afternoon series, and then they're going to start working through the late naughty, like the early noughties and the late 90s shows, because they're just going to have nostalgia on it. I think we're going to see a lot of that there. You know, it won't be long until they start doing reboots and stuff for them. I personally would just like them to just focus on new stuff, you know, make new things rather than focusing on. I'm liking in some ways some of the things they're doing for Disney Plus with like Moana and Cars and Tiana, and doing some shows based on the movies and kind of expanding it that way. Okay, so Joshua, we've done the question about Starz. So Joshua said, with Netflix, Amazon, and Disney ratcheting up the content and the amount of available areas to the amount of available areas to produce the same content in order to get squeezed, do you think it's possible we're going to see Disney either purchasing or building new areas in order to film most of their productions? That was one of the big reasons why they brought 20th Century, was a rev up production. Now, I think they're leasing the area in the US right now. They think they've got like a 7-year deal. I could see them buying up some land and doing that. I know they're doing something down in Australia as well, here in the UK. But also, more importantly, they can just rent them when they need them. Production is just going to keep ramping up, and companies are going to like keep doing, like Pinewood Studios are just going to keep building areas. But I do think Disney are just going to start building more and more things. I mean, it's like that set they're building, or they've built for Rogue One series Andor here in the UK. I mean, you know, you're kind of at a point where if you could build a Star Wars set, you might be able to just keep rolling and stuff. So I definitely think there's going to be a squeeze on space, but it's always a thing that they can always buy a hangar. I mean, there's going to be so much space with, you know, that they can buy and, you know, build them somewhere, you know, in the middle of the desert, something like that. I don't necessarily think there's a squeeze on space. It's going to be a squeeze on people. And I think that's why they need to do all this local content and like using people like here in the UK and stuff all over the place. So Drew asks, since all the content on for Disney Treasures DVD has been remastered, why isn't Disney adding any of their vintage content that is remastered and cleared for release as recently as 10 years ago? In the past year, they've added basically nothing since launch from those eras. Could they at least pretend to care more about their boomer subscribers? There's something really weird going on with the legacy content. They seem to have like skipped a whole generation. I mean, there's that kind of a lot of the older stuff, like you say, some of it has already been remastered. Why hasn't that been put in there? You know, why don't they do that? I think they should. It's just very strange how they have not really been focusing on the legacy content as much as we maybe would like. I mean, some months they've only been getting like 1 or 2 movies, so I do think they definitely need to do much more. They've been really lacking. Yeah, but the trouble is, and this is ultimately the biggest problem, is old content doesn't excite people in the same way that new content does. Now, they made quite a big deal of like the Golden Girls coming to the UK on July the 2nd, and also like the Muppet Show. They make big things, but these are big shows that they can put on there. But yeah, they just don't seem to do enough, and I definitely feel that's the case. Okay, let's jump back now into the live chat. Let's see what we've got going on here. So hello to Stephen. What do you think will happen when Sky Atlantic, if HBO Discovery becomes UK as the rights to 2024 HBO on Sky? Right. Definitely in the UK, HBO has done a deal with Sky. So all the content is there on Now TV. That's going to be there for at least another 3 years. So that's going to have a bit of an issue. Sky are in a situation now where I really do feel like they're getting squeezed, because if Discovery and HBO Max launches here at some point, I mean Discovery Plus already is, Sky is just losing that away. They're just losing it more and more. Obviously they've got their box that they're trying to sell the apps through, so that'll be the way to do it. I mean, I watch Netflix and Disney Plus through mine. So I think they're just going to get more and more squeezed. But you got to remember, Sky is Peacock. You know, that's the key thing you've got to think of, is all the NBC stuff. We're going to start pushing that more, and I think you're going to see a much more of a push for all the content that they make for Peacock here. My VCR Still Works says, you think Disney has had a big enough show to do a reunion show like HBO Max? I did watch that Friends reunion show. It was okay. I mean, it was fine. I'd much rather they got together and did a proper show. I mean, maybe they could do a Lizzie McGuire reunion. Let's see how that one goes down. I don't think the reunion shows would be a bad thing, you know, bringing people back and having a bit of a chat. You know, maybe they could do like Hannah Montana. They could do shows like that could be definitely a way of doing it. But yeah, I think any reunion show could be an interesting way of doing it. But personally, I don't know. I think now with the way we've got the internet, is it really needed? I thought that Friends one was a little bit unnecessary and a bit bloated. Joe says, how long does it take for a movie to leave Now TV to go to Disney Plus? Just wanted to know because Alita just left in March and it's only coming now in July. See, this is the thing with the Sky, everything leaving Sky is trying to work out what the pattern is, because in America it's been quite easy. You can kind of see them go within a day or two. Here in the UK, it's much weirder, and there's no like pattern evolving. Everything's much slower. So I don't know how long things are taking. And also we've not actually had any like new movies, so we can't really tell what the new, Nomad went straight to Disney Plus, so we don't know quite what's going on with all of this. So it is a very strange little system. So we're just having to wait, because I mean we're only March, April, May, so we've only really had like 3 months to monitor how things are happening with Star. Stephen Bruce says bring back Once Upon a Time and Glee. So they're doing something with Once Upon a Time really anyway. They're making a new series called Epic, and the creators are making it. So there's a brand new kind of fantasy thing with princesses and stuff that is being worked on. So they are doing something like that. Glee, yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, kind of High School Musical, is that not kind of similar to that one? Let's jump back now into some of the pre-done questions. And NYCKMP said it was reported a few days ago that NBC cancelled Zoe's Extraordinary playlist and it's now moving to Peacock. And it won't be moving to Peacock. Lionsgate is shopping the rights to the other platforms. Do you think the show coming back as a Hulu Star original? No. As much as Netflix might have done it, but I think right now the problem with all these shows of shipping them off to other networks is, if Lionsgate wants to ship it off to another network, why don't they put it on Starz? Why don't they put if they've got that much faith in it, why don't they pay it for themselves and put it on their own platform? Why are they trying to find somebody else to pay for it? And also, if you are Disney or Comcast or anything like that, if you've got a load of money to spend on a TV series, would it make more sense to just put that into your own content that you own, rather than, and if you're not going to get access to the previous seasons, then that's the problem as well. So that's my one issue with that one. Joshua said, with Shang-Chi coming up in the next few months, do you think it's possible that a film could allow for the return of Iron Fist, perhaps recast, and open a way for a Disney Plus series either for the Heroes for Hire or Agents of Atlas? There's been lots of rumors about Agents of Atlas being a potential Disney Plus series, and as far as Heroes for Hire, I'd love to see them bring back the Defenders and those guys. I mean, be interested to see how it works with She-Hulk and Spider-Man with Daredevil. I would love to see them bring them back. I actually thought Iron Fist and Luke Cage series they were alright. They got a bit slow in the end, but I do think they could do with a little bit of moving around. He also asks, with the next Indiana Jones apparently set in the 60s and the involvement of scientists from the Nazis being involved in the space program, which did happen via Operation Paperclip, how do you think Indiana Jones is going to be involved, and do you think Disney will try to improve the franchise after this one, and if so, how? Well, my way of fixing the Indiana Jones franchise is they wouldn't have made this movie. I would have just gone straight in with a brand new reboot, restart it from scratch. A new, younger Indiana Jones, set it back in the World War II era, and don't try and bring it forward in time. As much as Harris, I just really am just like, we don't need this movie. I would have much rather they'd waited and had a brand new Indiana Jones movie, or picked up from where the last one left off with Shia LaBeouf and do something like that. But I really do feel like with Indiana Jones, we need to reboot it. Get somebody new in, and I don't think it's a bad idea just to do the young Indiana Jones or something like that. But yeah, he's too old. It's just too bad for that one. Okay, let's jump back now into the live chat. So, Lego Ninjago Productions said, I think the reason Disney Plus takes so long in Eastern Europe is because the HBO deal hold until 30th of September. Do you think they'll launch it before that date or after? If there is an issue with that, could be very much the case. If there is a HBO contract in place, that would very easily be a reason. That's a very good indication of what could be going on. But yeah, that's the first I've heard of that HBO deal. So that could be very easily. And I would, after that, I would imagine maybe November. That might be a good idea. You know, might want to get everything out of the way and get. I mean, launching in November did all right for the US, so I would hopefully that will be pretty soon. Okay, so Joshua said, if Disney decided they wanted to do a continuation of the Independence Day franchise, do you think it would be the best to do a new theatrical release or a Star original, and why? Mick then popped in and said they should finish the films. At the end of the second film, they were going to go to an alien planet to end the war. Honestly, I mean, we just watched Independence Day recently because it's actually going to be an upcoming retro review on, and it'll be arriving for everybody on July the 4th. But obviously, Patreon and YouTube channel members will get it a little bit earlier. So I have recently watched that movie. I don't know, kind of like a series, maybe might be. I think a series rather than a movie, but it's such a great movie. I don't know. Do we need it again? Do we need a reboot of it? I mean, anything with aliens you can redo, but yeah, for me that's maybe the thing. Okay. Stephen Bruce asks, do you think an add-on channel like StarzPlay's Acon TV MGM should get brought out like StarzPlay? Should go to Disney MGM, close soon. Amazon's got the right. Find smaller companies add-on channels. Just crazy how big streaming services around. Do you think Paramount Plus will come to the UK? Right, okay. Paramount Plus probably will be coming at some point. Obviously, Viacom and Channel 5 and stuff over here, it would make sense for them to do something. And I completely agree. I do not understand with the Amazon system of all these little add-ons why anyone is doing them. I know, like, Hey You for the Kardashians. Well, they're going to lose the Kardashians pretty soon. You know, you've got Starz literally for, like, what, Outlander? I mean, it's a great show, but is it enough? I think those are going to disappear because I think the customers are just going to start leaving in droves, and if they've not already, because 1 or 2 shows is probably not going to be enough to sustain it, and if there's not hundreds of, if not thousands of titles available, it's going to look pretty weak. I do think all those little add-ons that Amazon sell, they're slowly going to go away. I think like the MGM one will all get soaked up into Amazon, because I mean, I think in the US they just lost access to like 1,000 movies to Paramount Plus, so MGM got brought to boost up Amazon. But yeah, I think we're definitely going to see them all closing down. Okay, let's just see. I think that is all of our pre-done questions. So we're going to go for about another 3 more minutes. If we've got any more questions in the live chat, feel free to jump in. So again, just lots of questions today. Nice bit of variety. It's always nice to have. But yeah, I want to see what else is being announced at E3 today, because I know there's been quite a few bits and pieces. Definitely a good one. Again, just want to say a huge thank you to all of our supporters, Cobra Critic, and also Lady Jennifer Snow for your super chats. Really just makes a massive difference. So it's definitely for me a kind of thing of just the support really does mean a lot, and just kind of the running costs and stuff of the channel and all the podcasts makes a big difference. So Joe said, what are most excited for the summer on Disney Plus? Can't wait for The Walking Dead, Golden Girls, and I'm happy Elite Battle is finally going to go to Disney Plus, and Aliens. Golden Girls, I'm really not. I'm not really interested in watching it. I might watch an episode to kind of see what all the fuss was. I remember it being on TV when I was a kid and didn't like it, so I might check out it, but it's not something I'm really got any nostalgia for. Elite Battle Angel I want to watch again because I watched it on a plane, so I want to watch it on a big screen. So I'm looking forward to Walking of the Dead dropping in July, because I have only watched the pilot, so I want to kind of give them a go, and sort of, because that's such a big series. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to plow through all of them in 2 months ahead of the new season, but I'm gonna try. That one's gonna be the big one. I've tried War of the Worlds. I'm going to see if I can try and plow through a few more episodes in the coming weeks ahead before the second season starts dropping. Yeah, so those are the ones. But I'm always more looking forwards to new stuff. So like with Walking Dead, at least that for me is something fresh. I'm not very good going back and watching stuff if you've got an hour or 2 free, I'd much rather watch something new than watching something I've already seen. So that's that one. Josh has said, Apple TV being brought out by Disney, I think they could be likely, as there is strong history between the two companies, as I don't think Apple are that interested in streaming, am I honest? And Stephen also said that Apple TV would need to buy somebody out. my thing with Apple TV is they're obviously trying to get you. All they want you to do is they want you to keep buying this. They want you to have your iPhone. The problem is they have got into the streaming. They've got the money. They got it all, but they seem to be kind of playing at it. They kind of, I think they thought they could slap all these like subscriptions together, and all their Apple people would just follow in droves. And I mean, they've been finding with the TV platforms that nobody's really subscribing. You know, there's. I mean, I really enjoyed the Ewan McGregor bike show, but that's pretty much it. I haven't watched anything else on there. I wouldn't subscribe to it. I mean, if I get it for free. Lady Jennifer Snow says, I don't think Disney has enough money to buy Apple TV. I don't think it's really about Disney buying them. I think it's more about the fact that Apple TV are it's either just a bolt on to keep you locked into your Apple devices, but I mean, they're selling subscriptions to video games, they're selling subscriptions to books, music. I mean, I use Spotify, I don't use Apple Music. They're just trying to get you to jump in, and I think they're trying to do what they did with music with Apple TV, and I don't think they really get what they're doing with it. I think, you know, the big boys are spending so much more, and Apple don't seem to be wanting to do that. I'd rather Apple TV went focused on making its devices and just making the Apple TV available, you know, with Disney Plus and pushing other people's content. They want people to use their devices. I mean, I use an Apple TV for a couple of apps, but in all honesty, with my TV, I don't really need to use it. So, Lady Jennifer, Apple TV interface is horrible to navigate. I've tried it a few times. I mean, I did buy a new TV that it'd have Apple TV built in, and I rarely go in it. I rarely use it. Looking here, Joe says, I only really use the free trial, but not really interested in Apple TV as much as Disney, Netflix, and Amazon. I rarely use my Amazon. I'm definitely watching so much more Disney Plus with Star, and that's been my big thing. Lego Ninjago Production said, I know the HBO deal right here only extends to 12 movies from them. Like, couldn't they launch it with the rest of the content? And yeah, they could do. They've done that in the past, where they launch and then add extra shows. We're seeing it all the time in the US and here in the UK with stuff being added later. There must be a reason for it, why they're holding out. Hopefully they will find out soon. Right, on that note, guys, thank you very much for all of your support. Thank you very much for all of your questions. I'll be back next week with another live Q&A. Like I said, if you become a member, you help support the channel in terms of keeping all the license fees, keeping all the hosting, all of that. It all makes a massive amount of things. There's quite a little bits of costs and stuff, and your support really does make a massive difference, and things like Superchat and things like that. Steven says, an A-Team reboot. Well, we saw that A-Team movie, and I mean, I was a massive A-Team fan. Do it as a TV series, don't do it as a movie. I'm 100% in on an A-Team. Beautiful. But yeah, so there we go. So that is this week's live Q&A again. Thank you very much, and I shall see you all in another video. Laters.